Pred nami je predstavitev 5 LIFE projektov. Še enkrat pa prostor za oglas, in sicer tisti, ki ste aktivni na Twitterju in Facebooku. Vabim vas, da delite vsebino z današnje konference pod ključnikom oziroma hashtagom LIFE Farming 2018. Naša prva sogovornica bo Marija Bastidas, ki nam bo predstavila izkušnjo z Portugalske in Španije. Ukvarjali so se s prilagajanjem kmetovanja podnebnim spremembam v projektu LIFE Montado Adapt. Prosim.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for the invitation to share with you the LIFE Montado Adapt project. So this project have the duration of 5 years. I'm sorry, it's not really well formatted, I think. Have a global budget of 3.5 million. Okay, 2 million are financed by the European Commission through the LIFE program, namely the sub-program about the climate action. Okay, this sub-program support projects that develop innovative way of responding to the challenge of climate change. Okay? This is the structure of our project. We are 17 partners. The coordinator is an NGO based on Portugal, on the countryside in the south of Portugal. The technical team is the Forest Service Group. Is a Holland group specialized in forestry. Is the University of Extremadura, the Association of Forestry Entities in Portugal, and a company specialized in drone technology. The research team, there are 3 groups. Portuguese group is the National Research Center in Portugal about agriculture and veterinary. The University of Lisbon and the University of Évora. Then we have the field team, and the field team, they are the owners of the 12 pilot areas that we have. We have public and private pilot areas. For example, the first one is Iria. The area is a compensation area for the construction of a big dam in Portugal. We have private, the municipality, another 2 private areas. Then we have a forestry association also, and the Environmental Ministry of Portugal with 3 pilot areas, and the Environmental Ministry of Andalusia region in Spain. Okay. What we do in our project? We are working with Montado. It's called in Portugal, or Dehesa in Spain. And Montado Dehesa is a heterogeneous set of non-timber forest production system based on the exploration of quercus, namely rotundifolia or sugar, in combination with a not intensive or extensive use of agriculture, livestock, and or hunting. It is a classified and agro-silvopastoral and multifunctional system, typical, of course, of the south of Portugal and in Spain, but as you can see in this image, it's not only in there. Okay, it's also in the north of Africa and Italy and around. But these more or less density forests are protected by 3 classified habitats. Okay, we are talking about the Dehesa with evergreen quercus, Quercus suber forest, and Quercus illet and Quercus rotundifolia forest. Of course, as we was said today during the morning, when we talk about the agriculture, habitat, and ecosystem, we are not talking only about environmental issues, but we are talking also about cultural, okay, a cultural landscape. And it's also the case of Montado and Dehesa habitat. is in fact there are several teams working in try to make a proposal to be considered part of the list of UNESCO World Heritage. But it's not everything going well. That is the reason of the project. The abandonment of agricultural activity or its intensification in some case, unsustainable agricultural practice and climate change are in the region of Montal Dehesa increasing decline, reflected in a reduction of density of the of forest and its susceptibility to attack to aggressive organisms. Okay, for example, we have here an image of one of the sign of the attack of some of these kind of species is, as you can see, the tree is died even with the leaf. Okay. To the right side, we can see also an image where was identified the tree that was dead or with clear sign of loss in vitality. Okay. Okay, so we want to explain now about the project, how is built the project. The project in general is trying to promote, thank you, the adaptation of this Montal system, okay, in Portugal and Spain, to try to mitigate the consequence of climate change, okay. Of course, when we talk about adaptation, we are always think that it's only possible when we face at economical, social, and environmental level. Okay, how we will do it? We will implement in each pilot and demonstrative area an ILU model. It's an integrated land use system. Okay, so here is a map where the 12 pilot areas are spread. As you can see, 7 are in Portugal. Portugal is this country. It's not easy. Maybe.
No, I think it's a computer. Something wrong. Not working anymore. But we will fix it, no problem.
V tem umestnem času, ko razrešujemo tehnične težave, mogoče lahko razmislite o kakšnem vprašanju. Namreč v tokratnem delu predstavitev imamo možnost tudi za 1 do 2 vprašanji za vsakega sogovornika. Mogoče kakšen razmislek o tem, kako vidite strani Slovenije tako izkušnjo, kot so jo imeli na Portugalskem in pa v Španiji. Hvala lepa.
Okay, here we are again. Okay, so the 12th area. Portugal is here. Then we have the 2 regions that are involved on the project. So it's Extremadura region and Andalusia region. In Portugal, we have 7 pilot areas. All of them, they are in the Alentejo region, and 5 of them are public and 2 private. In Spain, we have 4 in Extremadura, 1 public and 3 private, and 1 in Andalusia is 1 public. I have to say that this public area was also interesting because in the same payload area or in part of the farm is also happening an ongoing project. It's called Biodehesa. Okay, so it's working in the same habitat, but not too much about agricultural management, more about habitat. Okay. Okay, but we talk about ILU, so this integrated land use system. When we talk about the ILU, we are talking about diversification of crop production through the alternation of agricultural with forest one. So agroforestry or intercropping, they are our main concept. But we also talk about diversification of crop in species and varieties, the most resistant to the adverse climatic condition and profitable from an economical point of view. The idea is trying to make a match between. Act in accordance with international standards in order to be possible to achieve the certification of product when we think that could be something useful for the landowner, okay? Improve soil health through different techniques that green manures, mycorrhization, mulch, control erosion, etc. And diversification of income sources, not only in terms of eco-product, so regular agricultural product, but also about service. Okay, there are here the steps to develop, implement, and replicate the system in our project. The first one is evaluate the pilot area, the 12 pilot areas. So we visit them and we made deeply inquiry to try to understand how is the farm. So the size, the border, the eventual conflicts there are in the area, the risk of fire or other kind of risk, the main income there are, etc. We visit all of them, and then we make a meeting with the main stakeholder around. So the idea was to present the project in first time, and then try to see from them their perception about Montado Dehesa system, the threat, the risk, and the idea about the potential solution. Okay? We held a meeting with all of them. Interesting meeting was organized by the landowner. So I told you before, the landowner are partners in our project. They receive financing for their action, and they work in collaboration with the research entities and the technical entities to develop this solution that will be one model different for each pilot area. After this first step of evaluation of the area, we start to work in activity that is the definition of indicators. So as you know, in the LIFE program, you have to measure where you say that you will improve, you have to measure, quantify this improvement, okay? So we start with define our point zero of our properties, in several levels, like diversity in insect and in vegetation, for example. We also classify the mass, and we evaluate the decline of Montado, how is the vitality of the forest mass, etc. After that, we also make some basic information that will be necessary for the people that will work in the project. So this projection for each pilot area, we try to define a small or more specific information for the area. So. As you know, the information that are about climate is bigger. So how we can have information more specific for the pilot area, consider the shape and the relief, etc. So we made this information for all of them to try to understand how will be the future and what will be the future in agriculture for their farms. Also, the Terradrome made the fly for all the pilot area. And we create some information about mycosilviculture. That was one of the not timber products that we think that will be complementary and interesting for the farms. We also apply a SWAP methodology. It's a methodology, really participative methodology. We apply in 2 pilot areas to try to show how the farm will deal with this adaptation process, how define the pathway for the future with all the stakeholders that are involved, not only the owner, but the worker, etc. Okay? After that, we start to develop the ILU system. So the ILU system is something like this map, okay? All the colors are different function. When we say function, we are talking about, for example, air production or fodder bank, etc. And all of them have, as I say, at least 8 income and have a product and services provided. Okay. After that, we develop and we are continuing to this step that is training the landowner, open training course, okay, to form in all the aspects that we think that they are interested in, and they already validate the importance of this training course. And we start the last months with the implementation of the first ILU model. Okay, during the next 1 year and a half, we will implement all the pilot area, and we'll be very, very glad to receive you at this moment to show on the field how the model are. Okay, that is just to inform you that we have, of course, a web page and all the different channels. Okay, newsletter and Facebook, Twitter, and all these things. Okay, you can follow our project if you are interested, and of course you can contact us if you are interested to know some more specific aspect. We are open to share. We have a network in action of the project, so we can manage the way to be in contact. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Please stay with us for a question or two if you will have any. Okay. Imamo mogoče kakšno vprašanje? Ja, prosim, lahko tukaj mikrofon. Hvala.
I would have one quick question, because in most of the LIFE projects there is not so much international cooperation with partners outside of Europe. But as you showed on your slide, that this species, the quercus, is also very much present in the northern Africa. Do you have any cooperation, or are you considering any that type of cooperation in this respect?
No, we don't have cooperation with the north of Africa, not because we don't want, because we still not find a way to financing this cooperation. They are not too much found that give us this help. In fact, we are open we are wait to the open of some Atlantic possibility to work with Morocco. In fact, they have not only the main species that we told, they are the quercus, but of course they also have the secondary species like strawberry trees and another trees that have a lot of potential, and another not timber product that could be also very useful as complement for this ecosystem.
Thank you. Hvala. Imamo še eno vprašanje, potem pa gremo na naslednjo predstavitev. Prosim.
Grunter, the Minister of Agriculture, Forest and Food. My question is in how are the owner of land participates in this program? Do you found also their time involved in and so on?
Yeah, in fact, it's a good question, because normally the landowner, they are not partners of LIFE project. They are financing action in the farms, so they don't have costs, but they not financing. That is something that we understand that is needed, because we want that they help us to disseminate the project to another farmers. So it's different when a technician or a researcher speak to a farmer. The language is different. But of course it's not easy, because there are different point of view in the same project, and the bureaucracy associated, administrative and financial proceed associated to this big project, they are heavy for them. So we are all the time trying to support and keep calm. We can do it. But I think that is interesting. It's interesting because they don't have a passive position in the project. They are really active, and of course we select active farmers. They are opinion makers, so they are really interesting people that help us a lot to make a more integrated or more logic project. At practical level, we don't have, in Portugal it's not so normal have co-financing, so we don't have any co-financing. This 60%, 40% is by them, okay? 40% is for us, for example. We are a not profitable organization, not support for public entity. We also support our percentage. In the case of landowner, that is through human resources, so labor. Okay, they participate actively in all the meeting and all the training. Of course, in the farm, implement the action during the 5 years, maintain and keep the action, and they will be active disseminators of the project on the future with the school, with another landowner. So they will work a lot in the project. So the way to co-participate is with the work. Okay.
Hvala lepa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nadaljujemo z naslednjo predstavitvijo in sicer dr. Giuseppe Bonazzi iz organizacije Crpa, v kateri vodi okoljski oddelek, kjer se primarno ukvarja z vplivom živinoreje na okolje. V LIFE projektu Aqua so iskali rešitve za doseganje dobre kakovosti vode v območjih z intenzivno živalsko rejo. Prosim.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you very much for the invitation. The general objective of the LIFE Aqua is indicated in the title, Achieving Good Water Quality Status in Intensive Animal Production Areas. The specific objectives are resumed in this slide, that I don't describe because each objective include an action, so I prefer describe the single action, 4 actions integrated in order to propose to the farmers to adopt in order to achieve the objective of reducing the nitrogen excretion. The project involved 5 Italian regions of the north of the Italy, and the kind of farms is indicated: pig farms, dairy cattle farms, beef cattle farm, in all the 5 regions. In these farms, we carried out a demonstrative project. Before, I would like to explain why we selected this Italian area. It's because the 78% of the dairy cattle is in this area. So, the 85% of pigs, so the highest amount of animals are bred in the north of the Italy. Not only, but in this area we have about the 70% of the nitrate vulnerable zone of the Italy. So it was important to find a solution in order to reduce the impact of the animal breeding, of the livestock, intensive livestock production. The first action concerns the reduction of excreted nitrogen through both we prepared and we applied in this farm a feed plan in order to obtain a nitrogen reduction in the diet. That means a low protein level, first. Second, to achieve a good combination between the energy and protein in the diet. Looking at the dairy cattle, for example, we made a great attention both to the reduction of protein in the diet, but also in maintaining the functionality of the rumen, because it's important to have that in order to have a good production at the same time a reduction of excreted nitrogen. The result we obtain can be seen in this slide. These are 4 dairy cattle farms, and in all of them we practice a reduction of the raw protein in the diet. In all of this farm we maintain or increase, slightly increase, the nitrogen efficiency. That means a good level of production, but at the same time we obtain before and after, a reduction of the excreted nitrogen. The red spot disappeared. In the pig farm, we obtain the same results, decreasing. Why it doesn't work? Okay. We decrease the raw protein level. The efficiency was maintained, or also in this case slightly increased. And please look at the strong, interesting reduction of excreted nitrogen. Is the nitrogen then is transported to the field? Is the nitrogen responsible of the nitrate percolation when farmers use too much manure? Action 2 concern the management of the cropping, of the cultivation. Practically, we worked on 2 sub-actions. First, using a special device to put manure in order. I'm sorry, but it is. This one? Okay. Okay. This is the device implemented in order to reduce the nitrogen emission and to save nitrogen injected into the field in order to improve the production, in order to improve the animal production, I'm sorry, the crop production. In this final slide, you can see the so-called cycle, where is indicated in the central part the flow of nitrogen from the soil to the crops to the livestock, then to manure, and again to the soil. In addition to this cycle, it's possible to see the input to soil is fertilizer, of course, input to stable, feeds, litter, and so on, and on the left, in red, environmental losses. The environmental losses are very important because they are the responsible of the environmental impact, of course, and is measured as a surplus. When in a farm we have a surplus of nitrogen, that means that this farm is not in equilibrium with the environment, but is polluting. I have not the red spot and can't indicate, but I ask you to imagine the efficiency. May you please give me the... Sorry. Is I am... In the first column, we have the efficiency before the application of the aqua method. In the second, the effect of the application of these measures. And in the other two, the surplus before and after. These in blue are the dairy farm, where you can see that the efficiency increase with the application of these measures and the surplus decrease. The same into the pig farm, where the efficiency increase very well and the surplus, that means the negative environmental effect, decrease, and these are intensive farm. Another measure we considered is the so-called buffer strips, in order to avoid the release of nutrient from the field to the ditches. We discovered that a 5 meter strip can, in an excellent way, to reduce up to 70% of nitrate to the field. Transfer of solid fraction was another action studied to allow the farmers to reduce the environmental impact. Only this images, this slide. Okay, I go to the conclusion. But in this slide, my intention was to demonstrate that higher is the dry matter content of the solid fraction, higher is the transfer of nitrogen in the solid fraction. It's very important, because if a farmer in intensive livestock areas can export the solid fraction, can reduce the environmental impact in the area. So, farmer should try to transfer in the solid fraction the major amount of nitrogen. Okay, we can, other action was in the project, but as a general conclusion, I can only say that farmer can, applying an integrated approach, that means adopting different solutions, can reduce in the best way the environmental impact, both for the waters, the groundwater, and for the atmosphere. Thank you.
Please stay with us for a question. Imamo mogoče kako vprašanje? Eno vprašanje lahko sprejmemo. Imamo kako vprašanje mogoče? Ja, imamo tukaj vprašanje. Prosim.
My name is Jože Verbič from Agricultural Institute of Slovenia. You presented practice of separation of slurry. Do you have some problems on these farms where to find areas for application of this separated manure in other parts, non-vulnerable zones, for instance?
You mean difficulties in spread the separated soil?
Yeah, you need to find another farmer who is keen to accept this separated manure.
it's important to transfer this solid fraction in area where there is a lacking of organic matter. Because if you try to transport solid fraction in area where a high density of animals are, you don't have any success. But if you convince farmer having a low content of organic matter in the soil, the possibility to have his agreement in the transportation is very high.
Hvala lepa. Thank you. Nadaljujemo s predstavitvijo. Thank you very much. Nadaljujemo s predstavitvijo z Regionalne agencije za kmetijstvo in gozdarstvo iz Lombardije. Od tu prihaja Stefano Brena, kjer vodi raziskovalni oddelek in sicer predstavil nam bo projekt Life Soil.
Okay. Perfect. Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much for invitation. Because time is running, I will go directly to the content of my presentation. I'm going over any greetings or thanks for your invitation. It will be a great opportunity to share experiences between different projects. So what I would like to tell you about our Life Help Soil project on behalf, of course, of the whole Life Help Soil team. I would like at first remember that our project started in 2013 and ended last year, 2017. So just some information, general information about the project, the characteristic of the project, and then I will be a little bit more focused on results and the lesson we have learned, or we think we have learned from the project, and for conclusion to conclude some remarks looking at the future. So, what about the project? The project involved 5 administrative regions in North Italy. Concerned by the project was the whole green area in the map, that is the Lombardy Po plain and also the Veneto and Friuli plain, that is the more intensive area for agriculture in Italy. The core of the project were 20 demonstrative farms, real farms, different farms from pedoclimatic point of view, and also for cropping system characterizing these farms. Farms where conservation agricultural practices were compared with the conventional ones for 3 consecutive years, monitoring a large set of indicators, both agronomic and environmental indicators. So when we are talking about practices applied in our farms, we are talking about conservation agriculture. It means the application at the same time of 3 different principles, even if we had adaptation to the characteristics of all type of farms involved in the project. So, but the 3 principles applied were intensification and diversification of crop rotation. It means cultivations of more species, also belonging to more botanic families, for example. The second one was permanent soil cover through the improvement of crop residues management, and also through the introduction into the crop rotation of cover crops. For our farms, for our demonstrative farms, they used mainly winter cover crops, but also summer cover crops that have many technical problems to be adopted. But some farmers also experienced the summer cover crops. And the third pillar of this approach is the reduction of tillage through the application of direct seeding or no tillage, if you like, but also in other cases minimum tillage or strip tillage, and in general other techniques that reduce soil works, reduce depth and intensity of soil operation. On the other side, conventional agriculture, agriculture as business as usual, we can say that, means poor crop rotation, usually not more than 2 or 3 crops, 2 main crops, 2 main cash crops, any management of crop residues, any adoption of cover crops or intercropping and other techniques like that, and soil works based on plowed, often deep plow, and secondary tillage, often more than 1 passage to prepare seedbed. So, according to this approach, to this vision, in general, in our aims, so we think that some conservation agriculture can be considered as a technique that is aimed to address agriculture towards a more agroecology vision of agriculture, in general terms. In this vision, soil plays a key role, and the functionality of soil is absolutely fundamental and determinant, because soil is the engine of any agroecosystem. It means that the biomass that is produced by cash crops, but also and mainly in this kind of system through cover crops, intercropping and so on, is the fuel of this engine, and is the matter that we need to make the engine functioning. And the reduction of soil works leads to reduce to get less disturbance of soils, and it allows to maintain well functioning our engine. So, coming to the main results we had in our project. First of all, with respect to mitigation climate change issues, because the project has been classified as a life climate action project by the Commission itself. So what we saw is that with conservation agriculture in general, soil organic carbon sequestration rate is increased up to 0.4 tons per hectare per year, but it can happen only if no tillage, with no soil disturbance, and cover crops are at the same time adopted, and on the other side, soil organic carbon is decreasing under conventional practices. Those assessments have been made through model simulation, carried out with a model called Armosa that has been developed by the University of Milan in collaboration with ESA, that is my agency, and that was calibrated with the data provided by the project. In general, conservation agricultural fields have always showed a higher soil organic carbon stock. After transition period, the transition period is the period that we have to consider after the shift from conventional practices to conservation practices to reach a new agroecological equilibrium in the soil and in the field. Also, carbon footprint is lower under conservation agriculture systems. It has been assessed with a life cycle assessment methodology. If we consider also soil organic carbon storage, carbon footprint can be also negative, but in general is reduced due to more efficient and less utilization of external inputs, and especially fossil fuel consumption was reduced by 41% on average, and we should also consider the reduction of indirect CO2 emission due to reduced mechanization. At the same time, that is important for farmers' point of view, from agricultural point of view, we can get similar crop yields with this kind of approach to soil management practices after the transition period has passed. So we can conclude that conservation agriculture demonstrated to give a potential contribution toward a net zero negative emission agriculture in our landscape, in our agricultural system in North Italy. So coming to the adaptation to climate change, similar results. Those results are also more evident, also in the field, but anyhow, with conservation agriculture in general, erosion control, especially important, of course, in sloping land, is improved. Losses of nitrogen compounds is reduced, due especially to the action of cover crops that is acting in this case as catch crops, of course, of nitrates, for example. Agrobiodiversity is enhanced because more species are cultivated, because land is covered by living plants all over the year, because we had a higher abundance of earthworms, of microarthropods, and in general of fauna living in the soil. In general, we can get with the application, with a well application, a good application of these kind of strategies in soil management practices, we can get a higher efficiency in the use of water and in the use of technical inputs. That leads also to a reduction of fertilizer and maybe also in some cases also in the pesticides. So conservation agriculture demonstrated in our farms that can give a contribution to a more sustainable and resilient farming system, as you can see there. This slide is just to remember that dissemination activity and efforts are absolutely important for the success of a LIFE project, of our course, and as all of these efforts have been absolutely important to increase awareness of sustainability of soil management importance by farmers and advisors involved in the project with a lot of activity. In fact, the project allowed us to share the experiences with many other technicians, advisors, policymakers, so on. We provided guidelines, technical guidelines. We had field days, many field days. We worked with students in the schools. We organized 2 study visits involving directly farmers and advisors that had the opportunity to discuss and to compare directly their experiences with other farms in other countries and in other areas where similar approaches were applied. And then many networking activity with other LIFE projects and other similar approach to a sustainable approach to the management of cropping systems, and a large use of websites and social networks and so on. So, as I just say before, guidelines these guidelines are the main final products from technical point of view provided by the project. Guidelines are addressed to foster the application and the diffusion of conservation agriculture. Are applicable, of course, mainly in the area concerned by the project, but of course they can also contain information useful for application in other realities in other countries. Which is the lesson we have learned, or we believe to have learned from the project? First of all, conservation agriculture is a suitable solution for all types of farms, conventional farms, organic farms, livestock farms, yield farms, and so on. Can improve soil functionality and ecosystem services, but all 3 principles of conservation agriculture must be applied at the same time. That is absolutely important. Adaptation to specific local condition is needed, and when I say local, I refer to each farm situation, and but often results are not immediate, but in the long term feedback occurs. Providing opportunities for peer-to-peer exchange and sharing know-how directly between farmers play a key role. Absolutely important. We learned that absolutely during the project. Let me say that that is more important than a lesson of a professor, anyhow. and also measure. Measure results is important, measurement of results at farm level as well as at regional or at the policy level, if you like. So, just to going to conclusion, what could we do again looking at the future? So, health soil results actually can give a contribution to support farmers' progress on climate smart, the so-called climate smart production method. But some open issues remains, of course, the role of subsidies, the needs of technical assistance, how to improve skills of farmers, the role of good examples, and the possibility to share experiences. The results of the project have already given support for the implementation of climate commitments and rural development plans. The current plan in all the regions involved in the project, and also gave suggestions for the implementation in other regions of Italy. But now it is open the discussion about what to do with respect to the next rural development plans. So, at the end, I think that health soil results are supporting the idea that conservation agriculture can be part of a wide, of a broad strategy to foster the enhancement of resilience to climate change impact while maintaining crop yields in the long term. That means produce more with less, maintaining production, agricultural production and agricultural profitability, but with less use of natural resources and less use of external inputs. And also, it can foster the shift from a so-called agricultural business as usual to another concept of agriculture that we could maybe we could say an agricultural sustainable as usual. But we have to work again on this issue. So, thank you very much for attention. I leave you with the address of the website of our project, where you can find all information and documents you are interested in. Thank you very much again. About soil.
Thank you very much. Your questions will be in the lunchtime.
In the lunchtime?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Če boste imeli... Good. Če boste imeli kakšno vprašanje za help soil, torej v času kosila, namreč zdajle moramo izpolniti ta čas, da bomo ujeli točno kosilo. Z nami dr. Patrick McGurn, ki bo delil irsko izkušnjo in sicer iz projekta Mednarodna LIFE. Prosim.
Thank you. Just before I start, some people from Ireland talk very slowly. Unfortunately for you, I'm not that part of Ireland. I talk very fast. And the more excited I get, the faster I talk. So I'm talking fast, just start telling me to slow down. I'm going to talk to you about the Aran Islands and a LIFE project that I'm managing over there, but I'm also going to mention the Burren. The Burren is an area close to the Aran Islands that has a LIFE project that is over and how it continued. But first, just on the islands themselves. The Aran Islands are 3 islands off the west coast of Galway. If you see there, you'll see up the top-hand corner where they are in Ireland. They're about 16 kilometres from the coast. It's a Gaeltacht, so Irish is the first language of the people. And as you can see, the red lines there, it's very heavily SAC, Special Area Conservation. So most of it is designated. And it's mainly designated, first of all, it's a very unique landscape. It's made up of stone wall upon stone wall upon stone wall upon more stone walls. And it's quite interesting. Most of the soil has been made. It basically was a slab of rock, and people took in seaweed, sand, took off the rocks, built the walls. If they had too much rock, they built other things, and then put sand and soil down and built and made the soil. And I gather from talking to some of you, the same situation in some of the karst limestone in Slovenia. But the end result was these magnificent orchid-rich calcareous grasslands, which are extremely species-rich, and for such a very small island contain about 60% of the plants of Ireland, but more interestingly contain a mix of Arctic, Alpine, Atlantic, Mediterranean plants, So it's a quite unique assembly of plants, maybe not so much in numbers, but the type of things you get, you wouldn't know where. If you dropped a botanist in, they wouldn't know where they were, It's very challenging, and of course it's farming cows that keeps it. They're grazed, the cows graze the grassland. It's quite a unique farming system. This is one of the farms that we deal with. On this farm there's 32 hectares. There's 45 blocks of land and 180 fields. So it's quite a hard farm to farm. If you look at the bottom end of it, down here, this is called the winterage. So it's basically the rockier areas. And it is let grow during the summer and then grazed during the winter. So there's no housing, there's no fodder made, no hay, very little hay made. And then the reason it's so fragmented is that everybody got a piece of good land or bad land. So up here is a deeper, sandier soil. You got a bit, then you got a bit of this, and then you got the rock. But that fragmented nature leads to great challenges, because if you take that one field there, that might graze 3 cows for 1 week in the year. That's the output of it. So if the rain catcher for the water goes and it's going to cost the farmer €500 to replace that, it's not worth the bother. So the field's abandoned. And as a result, the other very important thing is the farm size is small. So we're talking about people with 2, 3, 5 cows, no small cow numbers. And as the professor mentioned earlier, from an agricultural point of view, that's not sustainable. How do you survive on an island with 5 cows? But tourism is very important. And why not? It's a very beautiful place to visit. This is one of the forts. But it's important to remember from a tourist point of view, the reason that these people can sit and have a nice picnic is during the winter, these cows graze it to keep it down. And without them, things change. And that's the background of the Mednarodna LIFE project. The landscape was beginning to change because economically all the money was in was just for output. And if you're only selling a few calves a year, and slowly the landscape was changing altogether. And in this case, it's the farmers themselves that kept approaching government bodies, NGOs, and said what could be done about it. And that was the LIFE project. There was agri-environment schemes, but in an awful lot of the case, both them in the Burren and the Aran Islands, they weren't that suitable because it's a different landscape than a hedged landscape of good land. And one interesting thing is this organisation here, Fáilte Ireland, which is, Fáilte is the Irish for welcome, so that's the tourist board. So the tourist board is one of our co-funders. So what's the project about? Well, basically it was talking to the farmers, what's stopping you from producing these fantastic species-rich grasslands? Have a look and tell us. And the issues the farmers identified forms the actions of our project, our LIFE project, and the Burren LIFE project when it was going. So the first thing, access. If you've got this fragmented fields, how do you get to it? So these are borings, which is the Irish for small roads. Some of them are only 1 metre wide, so much so that cows, now as cows have got bigger, they can't get up them, they won't go up them. But from a historic point of view, it's quite romantic, these narrow laneways, so nobody wants to make wide roads. So that's a different issue altogether. But clearance of them. The farmer said we need to clear them to get the stock up to them. So we've cleared about 25 kilometres under the LIFE project. The next thing they said, right, we need to get rid of the scrub. That's the first thing, and look at ways of getting rid of, keeping the scrub gone. So this is just a few before and after photographs. This is the same site, just to clear the scrub to get the grasslands back. And we've cleared about 90 hectares of scrub on the islands. The next step, now that might not be your view of Ireland, but that is Ireland, that's Inishmaan, is water. Water is a big issue. There is no running water on the islands in terms of rivers. There's only springs, but they disappear 1 or 2 days afterwards. So water is a big issue. If there's no water in a field, we can't graze it with livestock. And the way that the water is just caught what falls from the sky. So we have been constructed about 200 of a range of these sort of just simple structures to hold water so that we can graze the field. And that has probably been the main limiting factor to grazing. Right, so we've got our fields, we've got the access right, we've got the scrub cleared, we've got water. The next thing is to bring in cattle to graze them right, you know. And that was with implementation of optimal grazing plans and trying to work out why, looking at grazing levels and say, why your farm's so good but the man next door is not so good, you know, looking at the grazing levels. And we've had a PhD student talking on that. The second thing is, I'm an agriculturist from background, although I'm an ecologist now, I suppose. But one thing about species-rich grasslands, they're not that nutritious for livestock. They are deficient in a lot of minerals, which is why people reseed fields. So our land, the Aran Islands, is extremely deficient for phosphorus and a few other minor elements. So we've been looking about getting phosphorus in, because there's no point in grazing these areas if they can't maintain the cattle from an animal health point of view. And we do this and follow up and we weigh cattle. And we find that important because farmers like to know how well their cattle are doing. So we look at live weight gains. We get quite good live weight gains in calves, but also it gives you an idea of what species-rich grasslands are like in terms of animal production, which is something that hasn't been overly documented in Ireland anyway. But just as opposed to just grazing, one thing that we have done is we've had a scoring and output system. And this has formed the basis of the Burren and the Aran LIFE. The Burren has got a 1 to 10 score. So they take to the farmer to a field 10 and say, you produce that. And if the farmer says, oh no, I don't need to graze that heavy, he may lower his score, but he gets less money. So you're trying to incentivize the farmer to graze to maximize the money. You're not saying graze from the 1st of such and such a date, don't do this, don't do that. You're saying you farm it the way you know it, what we want is the end product. And that has been the basis of the Burren LIFE project. And just on the Burren at how it's developed, first of all, the Burren area is close to the Aran Islands. It started with agri-environment schemes that weren't suitable. Farmers said, look, this isn't working, we need something done. Brendan Dunford did a PhD on it and found, well, actually the farmers are right. The way that they are saying is farming it is higher biodiversity than what the ecologists were coming in to say. So they went for a LIFE project. But when their LIFE project was over, it was so successful that they got some Pillar 1 money to continue it. That run out, the government stepped in, the Irish government said, we'll fund that. And now they have a specific agri-environment programme just for the Burren of 350 farms, which is the right way to do it, to have agri-environment schemes that are suitable for particular areas. So that is the Burren story. And it's been very successful. If you look at the farm score, the field score, it was an average of 1 to 10. It started at 6.6. It's just risen greatly. There was a slight dip here because this was the new scheme, so they took on an awful lot of new farmers, so it lowered the average. So it's actually self-monitoring. You can see by the score increasing, of the score of the field. So the higher the score, basically the better ecological condition it is in. The Aran LIFE has followed a very similar scheme. We stepped in with the Burren. The Aran farmers said, it's working on the Burren, will it not work for us? So we had the Aran LIFE project. Now we have to look at, it's over in September, what do we do from there? And again, we have to follow Sauson, and we've looked at the European Innovation Partnership and say, can we develop Aran LIFE under the European Innovation Partnership? And we've been awarded a scheme to start at the end of the year, which is called Cíbhniú Aran, which means conserve Aran in Irish. And it's quite interesting one. What we're looking at, we've just, for Cíbhniú Aran, it's funded under Article 35. We're looking to examine technologies that increase the quality and uniformity of habitat assessments. Basically, for the LIFE project, there's 3 of us employed. It takes an awful lot of time to do all the survey work to identify the best areas. Can we look at other technology, drone technology that can assess habitat condition so we don't spend an awful lot of administration costs? That's sort of an innovative way. It's used in intensive agriculture. It's not used so much in extensive agriculture. We also want to look at non-subsidy methods of improving farm levels. We can't do it with cattle because it's a limited what you do. There is quite a market for wildflower seed. Can we look at this as a possibility? Not to start doing it, but is it a possibility and does it affect the overall vegetation? That's what we'll be looking under the new scheme. and also look at better ways of cost-effective ways of delivering phosphorus. Now, if phosphate's an issue on an intensive farm, it's really simple. You just plug some into the water supply and feed it, no problem. If you're relying from water from the sky, that's not an option, you know. If you can put fertilizer on an intensive system, the cattle get phosphate. If we're trying to keep these meadows, putting phosphate's going to get rid of them. So we need innovative ways of addressing problems that occur in these high nature value areas. And again, working with all the farmers to improve the status of around 1,500 hectares of priority habitat. So hopefully that I didn't get talked too fast, but to give you some idea of the Aran LIFE project, how it started with a LIFE project in the Burren, transferred to a LIFE project in the Aran Islands, and how we're developing using other tools for its continuation. I suppose I may as well plug Aran LIFE. If you want to see any details, we have a Facebook page and a Twitter page, which you can have a look and you can get more details. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Patrik McGurran bo z nami tudi v času kosila, tako da za njega velja enako, odgovarja na vaše vprašanje takrat. Čaka nas pa še zadnja in tokrat slovenska predstavitev, in sicer z nami je Rok Černe z Zavoda za gozdove Slovenije, ki bo predstavil projekt Life Dinalp Bear. Prosim.
Hvala. Jaz bom dejansko predstavil stvar še malo širš, zraven so vključeni še rezultati projekta Wolf in pa še delo Ministrstva za okolje in pa Agencije Republike Slovenije za okolje. Zadeva bo v bistvu malo širša, ker se zelo prepleta in tle se bo tudi videli, kako se te projekti med sabo nadgrajujejo in dograjujejo. Predstavil bom pa samo del teh dveh projektov, se pravi tisti del, ki se nanaša na kmetijstvo in tisti del, ki dejansko prinaša nekaj dobrega tako v kmetijstvu, kakor ohranjanju volka in medveda v tem primeru. Zdaj, štartil bom v letu 2010, ko so bile izplačevane subvencije za približno 1 meter visoke električne mreže. Sistem je bil dobro vzpostavljen, ampak škode, ki jih povzroča v tem primeru samo volk, so pa strmo naraščale. Se pravi, zadeva je bila neučinkovita, čeprav je ta subvencijski sistem deloval, ljudje so zaprošali za ta sredstva in so bili zainteresirani za postavitev teh ograj. Tudi samo na teh ograjah, ki so bile razdeljevane, se je škoda povečevala. Tle vidimo v letu 2010 je bilo samo na teh subvencioniranih ograjah za več kot 200.000 evrov škod. In nekako je veljalo splošno prepričanje, da se škod ne da preprečiti. Zdaj, štartali smo bolj v Wolf projektu in smo dejansko pogledali, kakšen je obseg teh škod, kako se to dogaja. In dejansko smo videli, da velika večina nastane samo pri 100 upravičencih, to je v 15 letih, in v 15 letih je bilo pa vsega skup 364 ljudi, ki so prejeli ta plačila. Se pravi, zakaj to govorim? Pomembno je razumeti, kakšen je obseg problema. To ni pri vseh rejcih nekaj, ampak je dejansko, če rešimo problem pri 100 rejcih, smo rešili 85% vseh škod. Takrat smo začeli z razdeljevanjem 170 cm visokih elektromrež in pa psov čuvajev. Jaz se bom danes osredotočil samo na tele elektromreže, čeprav psi čuvaji niso nič manj pomembni. Zdaj, kaj smo takrat vzpostavili? Vzpostavili smo bodisi nočne ograje ali pa ograjo za dnevno pašo. To je ena taka površina, velika slab hektar, ki je ograjena, lahko služi recimo za manjše rejce, če imajo nekih 50 ovc naprimer, za dnevno in nočno pašo in je treba to ograjo prestaviti. Lahko pa, če je čreda večja, se jo zapre čez noč, da je po noč čreda na varnem. To ne služi samo zato, da se prepreči napade, ampak je tudi bistveno izboljšana raba tega travinja, ker se živali koncentrira na manjšem območju, se to območje popase in se potem prestavi. Seveda pa to pomeni dodatno delo za ljudi, ki to delajo. Takrat smo, kljub temu, da smo vzpostavili takšne elektromreže, doživeli v posameznih primerih tudi škode. In takrat je bilo zelo pomembna vloga ravno teh LIFE projektov, da smo se lahko osredotočili na ta območja in pogledali, kaj je problem, kaj se zdaj tam dogaja, zakaj so škode nastala. Postavili smo kamere, tista pika je medved, ki je pogledal to ograjo in ko se je ograje dotaknil, se je kaj zgodilo? Nič se ni zgodilo. Ta ograja pa ni nobena fizična bariera za medveda. Ta ograja je psihološka bariera za medveda, ki ga mora močno stresti, takrat, ko se je dotakne, da se je vedno naprej boji. In če se zgodi to, kar smo tle v tem primeru posneli, se lahko v naslednji fazi zgodi, da medved ali pa volk ugotovita, da to ni da to ni problem v bistvu in se nauči to prečkati. Posneli smo tudi, kako medved vleče iz takih ograj ovco ven. Kaj je zdaj problem? Ko smo vzpostavili te kamere, smo tesno sodelovali z rejci. Z njimi smo se pogovarjali. Tle so se vključili ljudje, ki so bili zainteresirani, da svoj problem rešijo. To niso bili ljudje, ki se jim ne bi ljubili s tem ukvarjati, ampak so bili zainteresirani. In šele s temi posnetki in da smo pokazali, kaj se dejansko dogaja in da smo bili ob ograji, da smo merili napetost po noč, zjutraj, da smo ugotavljali, kaj se dogaja, smo skupaj s temi rejci prišli do tega, da je zelo pomembno, kako so te električne mreže postavljene. Če jih samo razdelimo, nismo naredili nič. Važno je, da jih na ta prav način vzdržujemo, da je ves čas prisoten električni tok. In pri tem je ključno sodelovanje z rejci. Brez tega tesnega sodelovanja ne moremo narediti nič. Se pravi, tukaj je en primer čistka take neznanja, to je ozemljitev, kar se tle vidi, ki je popolnoma neprimerno in je lahko ograja super postavljena, če samo za ozemljitev ne poskrbiš, spet nisi naredil nič. In tle je bil pri tem vključ, samo ozemljitev je bilo treba urediti in je stvar delala. Druge napake so še, da je ograja povešena ali pa da se dotika vejevja in tudi v tem primeru se električni tok zgublja in stvar ne deluje. Te skice so iz enega priročnika, ki smo ga pripravili skupaj z Ministrstvom za kmetijstvo, gozdarstvo. In tukaj smo izpostavili tiste stvari, ki jih mora vsak rejc, na katere mora vsak rejc biti pozoren, da stvar deluje. Se pravi, ustrezna ozemljitev, pokošena trasa, porezano grmovje, da se ne dotika mreže, sidrišče, če je potrebno, in pa, da so, če teren ni raven, nekako, da je mreža pritrjena do tal, da se živali ne morejo splazati zraven. Mogoče izgleda vse to logično, ampak na terenu to ni bilo tako logično in samo s tem svetovanjem in delom z ljudmi smo lahko dosegli, da so bile te živali dejansko na varnem. A še to sem pozabil, pomembna stvar je bila tudi obseg. Če je obseg večji kot 500 metrov, se začne elektrika v teh ograjah zgubljati. Če je manjši kot 350 metrov, ko pride neka zver do te ograje, se živali preplašijo in podrejo ograjo. Tudi to smo se naučili tekom sodelovanja s temi rejci, s katerimi smo delali, in pa ovalna oblika. Če ima ostre kote, se lahko ovce zaletijo v ta kot in spet ograjo podrejo in spet nismo naredili nič. Te ugotovitve so peljale naprej v to, da smo na zavodu uvedli neke sistematične kontrole teh mrež, ki jih je ARSO financiral. S tem smo dosegli dve stvari. Ena je bila ta, da so naši pooblaščenci se dobro zavedali, kaj so tiste stvari, na katere morajo biti pozorni. Druga stvar je bila pa, da se je dejansko pogledali na terenu, kje so tiste pomanjkljivosti, ki so, in se je to skomunicirali s temi rejci, da so te nepravilnosti odpravili. Namen tega ni neke kazni, ampak je namen tega predvsem to, da se ljudje zavejo, kje so napake in da odpravijo. Še enkrat poudarjam, da to delamo samo s tistimi, ki prostovoljno sodelujejo in imajo interes, da so njihove črede zaščitene. Kakšni so bili rezultati tega v teh letih od 2011 do 2017? Sodelovali smo z okrog 90 rejci in pa čebelarji. Te so imeli, preden so prejeli te električne mreže, približno 186 000 škod, 3-letno povprečje je to. Potem, ko so prejeli te električne mreže, pa okrog 10 000. Se pravi, smo za 95% zmanjšali te škodne primere, teh 10 000 je pa ravno na podlagi teh napak, ki so bile, in brez tega sodelovanja in da bi mi spremljali, na kakšen način se te ograje uporabljajo, ta številka tam ne bi bila tako majhna, ker bi te napake doprinesle do tega, da bi se škode še naprej pojavljale. Posledično bi se rekli, da te ograje ne delujejo in da je sistem neučinkovit. Ampak to je samo zaradi neke nedosledne rabe in v bistvu neznanja. S temi rezultati smo tudi na nacionalni ravni zmanjšali škode. Tukaj so škode od volkov, ki so v letu 2010 dosegle že skoraj 600 primerov, zdaj se gibljemo nekje med 100 in 200. Populacija volkov pa je zrasla nekje iz 40 na 60. Škode od medveda so se nekoliko zmanjšale, bistveno pa ne, ampak če pogledamo, kako populacija medvedov raste pri nas, v tem času smo lahko kljub temu zadovoljni s tem rezultatom, ker zdaj imamo najmanjšo letno številčnost medvedov pri nas že 750, če je pa največja, se pa lahko giblje tudi okrog 900, se pravi spomlad, ko pridejo medvedke z mladiči. Zdaj, kaj je v prihodnosti, na kaj moramo biti pozorni? Se pravi, odvzem je del upravljanja s temi zvermi in mora tako ostati. Ni pa to rešitev. Če bojo na nekem območju prisotnja 2 volka ali pa 5, te volki bojo plenili tisto, kar jim je najlažje dosegljivo. In če drobnica ne bo zaščitena, bo to ravno drobnica. Tako da govoriti, da je neki preštevilčen, predvsem pri volku, lahko to rečemo, ne bo nič pomagali, če malo zmanjšamo številčnost, ker tisti, ki bojo ostali, se bodo hranili tam, kjer jim je najlažje dosegljivo. Zato mislim, da je res pomembno, da nadaljujemo s temi ukrepi, ki so preizkušeni, kot sem rekel, 90 rejcev jih je imel, oziroma 90 rejcev in čebelarjev je imel, od tega je približno polovica rejcev, in ti rejci dokazujejo, da stvar deluje in da je učinkovita, ker smo res na relativno velikem primeru skozi več let zdaj dokazali. Ključno zdaj v naslednji fazi, po mojem, je, da res tesno sodelujemo Zavod za gozdove, Kmetijsko-gozdarska zbornica, ki mora prav tako svetovati tem kmetom in jim povedati, kaj so te napake, ki se lahko dogajajo. Biotehniška fakulteta, s katero že itak dobro sodelujemo, in Ministrstvo za kmetijstvo, gozdarstvo in prehrano. Zdaj, upam, da bomo v bodoče videli čim več takih slik, ko se bo medved ustrašil elektrike in pobegnil, in ne takšnih, ki se jo dotakne in se ne zgodi nič. Hvala.
Hvala lepa. Velja enako, upam, Rok, da ostajate z nami na kosilu, tako da takrat bo tudi priložnost še za kakšno vprašanje. Slišali smo res 5 navdihujočih zgodb. Upam, da se nam bodo te obdržale do časa, ko bomo sedeli skupaj na delavnicah in razmišljali o novih LIFE projektih. Tisti, ki se še niste prijavili na delavnice, prosim, to storite takoj ob odhodu na kosilo, zaradi tega, ker potem bodo te spiski že osnova za pripravo moderatorjev na delo na 5 delavnicah. Moderatorji se srečate ob 13:50 uri v prostorih, kjer bodo delavnice, medtem ko vsi ostali se vrnemo ob 14:10 na delavnice, torej neposredno na delavnice. Te bodo potekale tukaj v tem nadstropju okrog tega našega prostora, kjer smo sedeli sedaj. Zdaj pa še nekaj obvestil. In sicer dobili se bomo v 5 skupinah. Prva skupina, prilagajanje podnebnim spremembam, vodila jo bo profesor dr. Lučka Kajfež-Bogataj v strokovnem delu, seveda pa bo imela tudi pomoč tehničnega moderatorja, ki bo skrbel za potek srečanja in zato, da boste v 1 uri in pol tudi dejansko oddelali predvideno delo. Potem skupina nitrati, za strokovno podporo bo skrbel dr. Jože Verbič z Kmetijskega inštituta Slovenije. Skupina tla, s svojim znanjem bo pomagal dr. Borut Vrščaj, prav tako z Kmetijskega inštituta Slovenije. Potem 4. skupina, travišča, tu bo za strokovno podporo skrbela magistra Mateja Žvikart z Zavoda za varstvo narave. V 5. skupini, sobivanje, pa bo za strokovno podporo skrbela magistra Aleksandra Majic-Skrbinšek z Univerze v Ljubljani. Vsaka skupina, kot že omenjeno, bo imela tudi tehničnega moderatorja, ta bo vaš šef, da boste v času tudi zaključili z delom na delavnici. Torej, približno 1 uro in pol bomo imeli za delavnice. Kot rečeno, po kosilu se vrnete neposredno na delavnice, začenjamo ob 14:10. Na kosilo nas bo peljala Marjetka, ker gremo v drugo stavbo, tako da sledimo njej. Preden odidete na kosilo, samo še 2 tehnični informaciji. Ena, prosim, oddajte slušalke, lahko jih boste ponovno vzeli potem za zaključni del. Same delavnice bodo potekale v kombinaciji angleškega in slovenskega jezika, odvisno od sestave skupin. In pa še čisto tehnična informacija, pijača na kosilu je samoplačniška. Hvala lepa. Se vidimo ob 14:10 na delavnicah.